Welcome back, you Degenerates, to the number one fantasy football podcast in the world. I'm your host, Mike. My two dearest friends, Joe Green and Billy the Wilson, the Kid. What's up, fellas?
What's up, Mikey? How you doing?
I'm doing pleasant.
Yeah, you would have been highest scorer of the week last week if you knew what you were doing.
If I knew, I'm here just to win championships. Nothing else. Nothing more.
Yeah.
Nothing more, nothing less. So just win a championship.
I'm just trying to coast by, get my way. Once I get in the playoffs, I just win.
Yeah, story
break
of your
out
life.
the voodoo doll and you just go to town on opposing teams' players.
That's what I do.
Rondell Moore. Rondell Moore first play of the game gets hurt.
Done.
I'm curious. How many fantasy points did Greg Dortch have last night?
I think like 12 or 13.
Oh, never mind. I'm thinking of the tight end.
Oh, Dolchik? No.
Dolchik.
Because that was his spot,
How many points did my tight end get on the Arizona?
McBride, like 5, 6, maybe. It wasn't a great game for him. It wasn't very good for anyone on Arizona.
It wasn't good.
Actually,
Dortch Mike, you would have lost yesterday. You would have lost.
How many did Dortch get?
He had 19, and he almost scored a touchdown. And that's definitely it was one specific play where I was like, that's such a drawn up play for Rondell Moore. And it was like a screen pass, almost like a screen. It was like a slant, but they use it as a screen. And he brought it like 65 yards, and he just fell short of the end zone. And I was like, that's Rondell Moore at the touchdown. And I just won. I just beat you this week. I was so mad.
I was rooting for you. If you would have beat me, I would have been fine. I wouldn't have. I would have been mad at you.
I know. And you know me. I don't like shenanigans. I don't want you benching people. It was better off that you didn't bench anybody because your bench went off. It was better off.
My bench did go off. It went off. I had 60, 70 points sitting on the bench.
Minimum.
Probably. At least.
You had 9 touchdowns on your bench.
Anyway, folks, we're starting off week 12 this week. You know what that means. We're in November, Thursday night, which is now Thanksgiving.
We've been in November, by the way. I don't know if you know.
Yeah, but I just got to clarify that we're getting closer to my birthday, so send me gifts.
Oh, shit. That's right. Your birthday's next week.
Yeah. And we need to start drinking on my behalf because I'm a social drinker, and that's the only time I can drink. But first...
Are we going out?
Yeah, we're going out.
All right.
First,
let's go.
Let's talk about some Thursday night Thanksgiving football. It's actually not even night. It's 12:30 because, we start them early. We have the Bills versus the Lions. And probably the top news we have is Jameson Williams was finally activated from IR. I doubt he plays this game. Correct if I'm wrong?
Yeah, no, I doubt it. I mean, no way. There's no way he plays.
But if he happens to be sitting in the waiver wire and you want to take one last dip into it, you might as well. The Lions are just continuing to, throw the ball 60 times a game and give the touchdowns to Williams.
Yeah.
What is your outlook for Jameson Williams rest of the season?
Not much because it's probably played two games.
It depends on when he gets activated.
Yeah. Because what we've been hearing, what Joe Green's been telling us, because he's got all the sources, is that mid-December, so it's 3 more weeks. So if that's 3 weeks, that's week 15, 17, 18, 16, 17, so 3 weeks. It's kind of just to get him accustomed to NFL speed, I'm guessing. Just get him some reps before the season's over. So,
I don't think they have much of a reason to risk playing him. I mean, he's the future, right? So, why are they going to go all out?
Are they not on a 3-game win streak?
Yeah.
They could just be the best team in the NFC East, right?
Yeah, they did.
So,
we got our ass handed to us.
Yeah. Yeah, you did.
Sure. You could say they're fighting for the playoffs. I think more realistically, they are.
I mean, they should lose this game, but the Bills, the Bills have looked like shit. Even though they're winning, they still look like shit.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't practice all week last week. they're professionals, but like still, like you still need to work on the game plan.
This would be a perfect letdown game coming off of a busy schedule. And now Lions, they've been practicing. They're coming off a win. They're coming off a hot streak. This is a letdown game, I think.
I mean, I think we were talking about it in the group chat, like as far as that goes. Yeah, I do think so. Like too many points, but as far as the Bills go, I think they kind of right the ship now that they will have a couple days worth of practice and they're used to that stadium. More Bills fans had time to get there for Thanksgiving.
Bills Mafia.
Bills Mafia is traveling. They have nothing to do. They're running out of beer up in Buffalo, from what I heard. Yeah, I mean, for Jameson Williams, I don't see anything really, like truly fantasy relevant. If you're in a league like ours, a keeper league, yeah, go scoop him. He's probably owned anyway.
Yeah, he's owned probably on what's it called? Dynasties, 100%.
Oh yeah, I mean, you have middle school football players owned in Dynasty, man. Come on.
I just want to talk about the Bills. I want to talk about Cook. I believe it's going to start being his time to shine. You saw not a ton. You saw like 12, 13 carries last week. And I think going forward, I think he continues to start taking more of the role into this offense. They need some explosiveness, and I think that's the only way they're going to get it is if they start playing him.
Yeah, I mean, he is the best running back there.
I want to believe it. It's just like week 2, the same thing happened against the Titans. He saw 11 carries, and then the following week he sees 1. And I want to believe that Cook's the guy. It's just been a very frustrating season if you drafted Cook, because this is the first sign of life even of this guy since literally week 2. So I don't really know what to expect going forward, but it would make a lot of sense for the Bills to start giving him the ball, at least carrying more of the workload than Devin Singletary. But
yeah,
Singletary is a veteran, so
and he has been playing. It's not like he's been playing bad; he's been playing well.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if he could actually, if he can get into this game and show what he can do at going against the Lions and running the ball against the Lions. The only team that doesn't run against the Lions is Barkley and the Giants. But if Cook can actually perform against the Lions, he could actually carve out a role, maybe even a starting role by the playoffs if he could actually take advantage of his playing time right now.
Mm-hmm. I just have one.
Bills had.
No, I was just going to talk back onto the Lions, but you can go first if you're going to talk about the Bills.
Yeah, just real quick on Cook. I just want to say, the Bills had big plans for this guy. They drafted him in the second round. They clearly view him as a starting running back. It is getting to the end of the year where rookies start to really make a splash. So, it is a good take that Cook could take over. It's just been a long season, and I just haven't seen enough of him. But
yeah,
there's opportunity at least.
Yeah, and the Bills have been known to just not have good running backs for quite some time and not really use them. So, but
that's true too.
Even rushing the ball on the Lions side, we talked about it a little bit last week. We were saying that DeAndre Swift was coming back from being hurt, this and that, but then once again, only 5 carries. What is Jamal Williams just the lead back there? Is DeAndre Swift just not good? What's happening?
Yeah, Swift is just not good.
That's not it. It's not a talent thing. I think he's frustrated because they're not giving him a higher snap count, and I think they said it was like a 4 or 5 week thing, even when he was back, that he was going to be playing through. So,
and Williams is the better pass protection running back, so he's going to be on the field during obviously when he needs pass protect.
Yeah, but that's not. I mean, Swift eats in the receiving game. He's
3
catches. No, he eats. But when they need someone to pass protect in the backfield, it's going to be Williams.
Yeah, I mean, he's no Tony Pollard, but he gets in he gets some yards.
And some of the facts that he just gets touchdowns, it's the same way as Connor is in last year and earlier. If you get to the end zone and you're on the 5-yard line, Williams is coming in. It's just good. Yeah. It just happens to be fate that they're in the top 5 yards.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, the 3 touchdowns. I'm just all right. That's just what Williams does. He's a vulture. But the 17 carries, it's just what are you gonna do with DeAndre Swift?
And
You
also,
can't play him.
You
and
can't
also,
play him.
the Lions were basically up. They're running time. You gotta
Mhm.
also why even play Swift if you don't need to? Chances of him getting hurt, like by the slight chance that they can make the playoffs. They don't need to have Swift hurt. Just run the ball with Williams, run off the clock. He's obviously the power back in the backfield. That's it. Just game plan.
And I'll say this week, I definitely wouldn't play Swift this week. Watch, he's going to have like 5 touchdowns. But like he's coming off a short week, and he's clearly still not healthy. At least the Lions don't believe that. So unless they're randomly saving him for this Bills game, which I can't imagine that was the case, I just wouldn't start him.
Honestly, it could have been. They were up early on the Giants, and like they're like, all right, that's it. Shut him down.
Maybe.
Shut him down.
Maybe.
We beat one top tier team. Let's just beat another one next week.
But to be fair, he got a garbage time touchdown in the Giants game. Didn't he get the last touchdown of the game when they were up already by 12? The game was essentially over.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So I just don't know what to. I can't play him until I see at least 50%.
Yeah,
that's how it.
And that's all for that game. Next up, we have my team, the Giants versus the Cowboys. This is going to be a manslaughter. Giants are going to get killed. Absolutely demolished. The Giants lost another wide receiver, Robinson. He tore his ACL. He is going to be out for, who knows how long. All we have is Galladay and then a bunch of nobodies besides Slayton. But I mean, come on. I mean, at this point, like, we got nothing. We don't even have a tight end. Our right tackle, we're on our third right tackle because they're all hurt. Which makes me believe that the Cowboys are just trying to steamroll us. Like we're gonna get Jones is gonna die. This is when Jones, at the end of the year where Jones gets hurt, this is the game.
Yeah, and it's damn shame for Wan'Dale Robinson. He was balling out too.
Yep.
Yeah, 13 targets, 9 receptions, 100. What was that? 100 yards? Yeah.
He was balling.
He was balling, having the game of his career. But where do you think the targets are going to go? I guess they're going to go to Slayton because Galladay. Galladay had 2 catches, 29 yards. It's season high probably.
I think he only
probably
had
a giant career high.
I think he only had 4 catches on the year, so
giant career high. I don't know. I do agree. Like it's gonna be real hard if the Giants really do anything offensively in this one. It's just like you said, they're down to their third right tackle. Cowboys D line is probably the best in the NFL. They just steamrolled the Vikings. They have momentum. This isn't like one of those trap games like last week the Cowboys. How are the Vikings underdogs?
Yeah.
No, this is a steamroll game.
This is a steamroll.
Yeah, they're going to win by 37 again. Well, they might, but they're not going to.
I think there's still the only thing that keeps the Giants in it is their defense, but it's not like it'll be good the first half under. That's what I would bet on, and then the second half they just get steamrolled because the Giants defense is going to get tired. They've been on the field the whole game.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to bring it over to the Giants, more towards fantasy. Is Saquon going to be able to?
No,
the team this week or
no? I'm putting Pollard in for Barkley. That's how serious I am.
Oh, you're not.
Oh, this guy doesn't even care. Guy doesn't even care about his fantasy lineups anymore.
Doesn't matter. That's how big of a lead I have in our league because I already
even in first place.
I already clinched the bye.
Yeah. I'm still trying to give out good fantasy advice, even borrowing my situation. I'm not gonna.
I listen for the.
I don't absolutely hate it because Giants get killed by fast running backs, but the Cowboys have been dog shit against the run, and Saquon's one of the best there is.
Yeah, so
I'm not benching a top 5.
Let's play this out again. Let's play this.
Hot take, I'd say.
Let's play this out. Last week, the Lions should have been a home run for Barkley. Guess what? You saw exactly what happened. When you see 9 people in the box and you got one, they didn't even care to double Robinson. I mean, not that you were, he was a rookie, but like that's the person you would double because he was hot. They
And
didn't even care.
And they're not doubling Kenny Galladay. I'll tell you that.
So what are they going to do when there's no Robinson and nobody else? They have no right tackle. Like Barkley is gonna he's not gonna. If he does get something, it's like a maybe a touchdown, just because of the goal line.
At 6 fantasy points.
Yes, or he happens to break off one, which he can do at any time. I think Pollard is one of the hottest players right now in the league. Back to the last 3 weeks, he's had over 20 points almost. So
I see your point, and like I said, I don't think it's that much of a hot take, just because I do agree they're just going to stack the box against the Giants because they've been one-dimensional all year, and then you add in now another wide receiver being hurt. But at the same time, it just feels like you're just trying to chase points with Tony Pollard, and it's just not going to work out. It's like, you say you lost like 4 bets in a row, so like as you do, Mike, just toss it all on one quote unquote lock, and then it just never works out. It never works out. You know that. You're just chasing. Never works.
Yeah, that's what I feel like you're doing here, and like you're also not acknowledging that Zeke returned. Like Zeke came back last game, and I know he didn't play a significant amount of snaps, but it's probably going to cut back into that. Like I think you're overlooking that, and for the same reason you outlined with Saquon, I am not benching a guy that could break off any play for 70 yards and a touchdown. Yeah. That's just crazy. And you, Mike, honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if you're right if Pollard outscores Saquon. I would even put the odds at 50-50 that it happens. I'm not benching a guy who's top 5 right now in fantasy.
Yeah. I'm just going to go with the hot hand.
I mean, like we both kind of agree with Mike, but like we're just not willing to pull.
You're not going to risk it.
And because, we're grounded. I think we're a little grounded.
I think a lot of other people in other leagues don't have the privilege of me with stacked powerhouses, so.
I mean, I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't do it either. And like, I don't have a powerhouse. Like, I just wouldn't. Not my nature. Not my nature. A guy scores 30 fantasy points back-to-back weeks. He's not going to do it a third time. The odds of that are low.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
On the Cowboys end, Dak is making me eat my words slowly, unfortunately. But there's just not enough time on his half, which is good news for me.
Yeah, I mean, he needs to be in every starting lineup that it's not.
Absolutely. Like, I think he does, yeah. Right now.
Clip it.
I mean like I said, the Giants are going to be a good first half team. Second half, Cowboys are going to roll in. Prescott is going to just continue to dominate. We also lost our corner. We lost Jackson for 4 weeks. So, I mean, there's nothing good on the Giants right now. So there's no reason why the Cowboys shouldn't dominate on defense and offense.
Mike's slowly convincing me to bet on the Giants.
Right.
That's what he's doing.
He's slowly.
I love Thanksgiving. I love Thanksgiving. I'm not.
Joe Green, we're gonna have to dive in a little bit deeper on this one.
Yeah. Now I gotta reconsider my bet.
Like, what is the spread? Like -11?
No,
it was 8.5. It was 8.5, and now it's up to 9.5. Like Mike said this, and the line it keeps going for the Cowboys.
People are
now I've got to bet the other way.
Yeah, no way. Prime time game. Yeah. Next game up.
That's the game. Patriots versus the Vikings.
Both these teams stink.
They're both fake teams.
Fake teams don't exist.
Well, they're like teams that like to show that they're decent once in a while, but they're really not. Like Vikings on a tear of what were they 7-1? They're not a real team.
8-2.
8-2. They were 8-1. They were just embarrassed.
Think about this: the Vikings are 8-2, and their point differential -2.
Yeah.
I mean, they just got beat by 37. So
but still,
that'll eat in, man. No, it's gonna eat in.
Yes, but you're 8-2 and your differential is -2. I mean, you'd think you'd have a blowout in there too.
No, you just need to win by a touchdown. So 8-2, 7 times 6. That's what?
7 times 6 was that 30? 42.
42. They lost by 37, and they lost another game. That's
Yeah,
quick maths,
I
baby.
guess
That's
so.
quick maths.
You'd think you'd have a blowout or two.
Nah, I mean, I agree. I mean, I have nothing good to say about the Patriots.
I think
I watched
yeah.
like a quarter and a half, the first quarter and a half. I had a baptism this weekend. Didn't watch much football, but I watched a quarter and a half in the beginning, and then I watched the whole fourth quarter of this because they were all Jets fans, and it was some of the worst showing of football I've seen in quite a while. Absolutely nothing happening, and then of course, in typical Patriots way, they still find a way to beat the shit out of the Jets and just win it on a punt return touchdown.
It's a typical New
there was
York way.
nothing. There was
It's a typical
nothing.
New York way because New York likes to lose by punt returns. Like the Giants lost to Deshaun Jackson when he was
Yeah,
on
isn't the anniversary? Wasn't that yesterday? Wasn't the anniversary?
It was close, yeah. It's just
Yeah.
if you add up all the juju in the air, like you knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah. So like for both of these teams, personally at least, I don't know about you, Mike. I have nothing that like can be carried over from last week to this week. There's nothing that makes me want to like talk about this game. They were
my only takeaway fantasy wise is Ramondre Stevenson. Even with not seeing the workload from a rushing perspective, is still giving you double-digit fantasy points because of the receiving work. So like that's something you love to see.
he had 15 carries, but I mean the Jets defense was good. Jets defense is good, man. Outside of that big run that Harris had, like he had a mediocre day. Like he's not the better back. He's just not.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I don't know. I don't know what Bill Belichick's doing anymore. Nowadays, I have no idea what he's doing.
Well, Matt Patricia is the offense coordinator. That's all you need to.
Yeah, that's all you need to know. Yeah,
what's happening.
Yeah.
But
I don't think I'm. Go ahead.
He has something on Bill. That's why he's currently the offensive coordinator.
Sure.
I don't think on Minnesota there's anything to say. Like it was just a bad game, a bad week. We learned nothing fantasy wise that hasn't already been learned.
Yeah.
Like I feel like they play the same game every week, honestly, offensively.
Yeah, I mean that was like the most obvious letdown spot in the world. Now they beat the Bills in this miraculous overtime, and then you have Kirk Cousins on a plane with no shirt on, and then Kirk Cousins is playing at 4:25 p.m. the next week. It was just they were not going to show up. It just wasn't going to happen.
What I've learned is that when the Vikings are forced to score and they don't do it their way, they can't do it because they need to run the ball to score. And when they go away from that, when Cook only has 12 to 14 carries, it just ends up not being good for them. They've won games where he hasn't had more than that, but it's like they're barely they are barely scoring. It's so close of a games that it's crazy. They need to obviously be playing against teams that don't have an offense. This is a perfect game going against Patriots where they can put up points and do it the way they want to. Obviously, Patriots have good defense, but at least they're not forced to start doing things they're not good at, and that's like simply just continues to throw the ball down the field.
Yeah.
We'll see. New England's good at taking that away, so we'll see.
All right, that kicks it off. We're on the Sunday. We have the Ravens versus the Jaguars. Jaguars were on bye last week. Christian Kirk couldn't get us 30 points against me, unfortunately.
ETN couldn't get me 20. Nice solid 21 points against you.
I probably would have lost if ET was there.
Yep.
Ravens, Mark Andrews is finally back. He had no touchdowns, but he had an okay game.
They didn't do anything very well. This is another game where like there's a few games on this week's slate where just like there's not much to say because the Ravens should have beat them by 35 points and they were never in danger of losing. They just didn't care. They just didn't care because they knew like at any point they'll just score. So you didn't learn anything. There was nothing to really take away from the game. I have very little to say except Devin Duvernay.
Duvernay
still stinks.
Yeah. Do you think Robinson can end up being sufficient or no?
No.
I don't
No,
think so.
me either. I don't think so. It like early in the year, he had the one big game, and he does nothing for 5 games. He has a decent game, and then he's on a good game this week.
Mm-hmm. And like Gus Edwards was supposed to come back that week, last week, and they were even just like, fuck it, we're not even gonna do it. Just not even play him because we don't need him. Yeah, there's not much on the Ravens side I even want to talk about.
Outside of Lamar and Mark, there's nothing else.
Yeah.
That's it. It's just Lamar and Mark.
Yeah, because we didn't get to see the Kenyon Drake and Gus Edwards split, so there's not really much to say.
Anything on Jaguars?
Travis
They're
Etienne
on bye.
is the best player in fantasy football. There, I said it.
Do you wish you would have waited one more round to see if you would?
I couldn't. I kept Mike Evans.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would have. Yeah.
Do you wish you would have had your 3rd round pick?
Actually, oh yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah,
I kind of would have, but like I figured I needed somebody.
I'm just asking.
Yeah.
All right, next up we have Justin Fields, who dislocated his shoulder during the game last week, going against the Jets.
Who Zach Wilson looked like he dislocated his shoulder.
I don't even think Wilson's going to be playing in this game. I think it's going to be White.
Yeah, it's that's what I'm hearing.
Rumors are circling. Rumors are circling. I don't think it's going to be White. I think it's going to be Flacco.
Nah, they're done with Flacco, man.
I think Flacco is like
I wish.
I don't know. They already saw what Flacco did. Let's see what there's no better game right now to put Mike White in. There really isn't. Going against the Bears, their defense is mediocre. It's not like great. The Jets should be able to play good against the Bears. There's really just Justin Fields there. So
yeah, what I think if I was a coach, what I would do is play Mike White and have Joe Flacco sit right next to Zach Wilson and be like, watch. Like, whether he makes a mistake or plays well, break the game down with him. Don't do it live. Do it live. Like, it's.
I think Wilson's done.
Yeah, I didn't think he was very good. He went to BYU. If he was any good, he would have played somewhere better.
I simply think. I think you don't think he's done?
No, I think he is done. I think. Well, this is the thing. When we came back week against the Steelers earlier this year, I had him in my fantasy team. Dropped him immediately, even though he had a 20-point week. And it was obvious that he didn't have any development in the offseason. He didn't get better with his accuracy, didn't improve his playmaking, or not playmaking, decision making. I mean, his mechanics were still shit.
It's all his
just a matter of time.
All his feet. His feet are. I'm not a QB coach, but you obviously see his feet are pointing that way and he's throwing that way.
Yeah.
And,
it's
atrocious.
He was somebody who had a big arm, wasn't very accurate, but he was also mobile. And they don't do anything with the mobility. He doesn't do anything himself if play breaks down. He can't even throw the ball out of bounds.
Well, he was mobile in college, and in the NFL where everyone's fast, he's same reason why Mayfield.
Yeah, but you can still go ahead and get 3-4 yards, man.
Yeah.
You have a step on somebody, you can still go get 3 yards. You might not get a first down or break something like Justin Fields will, but he has the ability to get a couple of positive yards, and he's not. I just think he's not smart enough. If I'm as far as being in the that position, I don't think he's a smart enough quarterback to see it.
Going to the fantasy side of it though. Say they go to Mike White. We'll just go with Mike White for argument's sake. I mean, how much more excited are you for Garrett Wilson? Is Elijah Moore?
Now, I think Elijah Moore would not that I think is going to make him fantasy relevant. I think Elijah Moore finally sees something.
Yeah, I mean, Mike White for one game last year was the best player of all time, and then the next game he was absolute dog shit. So it's hard to really tell which Mike White we'd get. The Bears' defense isn't phenomenal, but they might even just have a more run-centric offense because the Bears, they're just dog shit against running backs. So I don't really love it. If Mike White plays, I kind of like Michael Carter better. If I'm being honest.
That was good.
If I'm being honest with you.
Yeah, what a mess the backfield is too, right? Like neither running back did a single thing.
They had 2 yards of offense in the second half.
Yeah.
Mike ate more cheeseburgers before the show than they had yards. Like
I had one double cheeseburger.
See, two cheeseburgers. I told you.
Technically, if you stack them together, it's counted as 2. But it was 1 piece of bread.
All right. 2 open-faced cheeseburgers. How do you guys think that shoulder is going to affect Justin Fields? This is non-throwing shoulder. It's non-throwing. Thank God, because I traded away Joe Burrow this weekend because I was like, I'm just rolling Justin Fields, and then as typical, you play Mike, and everybody in your team gets hurt. Do you think it's going to be really affect him at all, or you just think that it'll be all right?
What's the chance that it happens again?
I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I am not a doctor.
That's what
I dislocated my shoulder once, but that was it. Never did it again.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like something that usually elbows dislocate a lot often. Like once you dislocate it once, it's like
the same thing with the shoulders. I know a couple people that like they've done it a bunch of times, but that's like I feel like that's a genetic thing. I don't know. I really wouldn't know, but personally, I don't think that because he gets most of his fantasy points on the ground. Honestly,
that's the bad part.
No, I mean as long as he can take a hit still, which it's not still dislocated. They just popped it back into place. Mm-hmm. It just hurts a little bit. I think it'll still be all right. Jets are bad, so yeah.
Not their defense.
I like how Eberflus kind of left it open to he's day to day to it could be season ending. He was like, he's day to day, but he could also be done for the year. And it's like, wait, what? Like, what a wild time.
I didn't hear that, and I really don't like that.
There's no reason for them to play him. There really isn't.
Joe Green, can you tag me in something that says that so I can see it?
Who's your source this time?
Just make sure it's not Jeremy Fowler. As long as it's not Jeremy Fowler, we're okay.
No, I retweeted it last night. It was like weird the way he worded it. I'm trying to go find it. But he kind of like left it open. But like I'm just concerned, he has to put it in perspective, Justin Fields is 5th in rushing in the NFL right now. He has more rushing attempts than Kenneth Walker, Tony Pollard, Antonio Gibson. That's not saying much. But like
they're all sharing rush attempts though.
Yeah, I get that.
I don't know more, but
like that's a lot of hits he's taking. Like he's not running and then sliding like Jalen Hurts. Like Jalen Hurts is really good at avoiding contact. I'm concerned that he's going to get hurt and hurt worse than it is. So that's kind of where I'm at. Like I'd be a little concerned as a Fields owner. I'm concerned,
very concerned.
Yeah, like the biggest concern is the fact that they do not have to play him. Like there is no reason. They have no playoff hope. They obviously want to get. If they think after all this, they should think Fields is the guy. You should have. You should get the best draft picks to get him offensive line and pass catchers.
Yeah. This is a weird thing. Like apparently Schefter said it's not a dislocated shoulder.
What?
So yeah, I have no idea. That's what Schefter reported last night. I didn't even notice that. I didn't see it.
So what is it?
I don't know. They're not really giving much info on it. I had seen, like I said, I'd seen that weird thing where they were like, he's day to day, but he could be done for the year. We'll see on Wednesday. I was like, what? Like, what kind of report is that?
Ladies and gentlemen, we're waiting until Wednesday. Until after waivers,
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. All right, that's all I got.
All right, sounds good. Next up, we have 2 teams that need to start with. Well, only one team. We have the Bengals that need more wins. And the Titans, going against the Titans. Joe Mixon has a concussion, who is, for what I think is definitely out this week. Every person with a concussion this year has been more than a week. With that being said, are we going to pick up Perine, however the fuck you say his name is?
Samaji Perine.
I'm not saying the first name.
How you say it, Mike?
No. They spelled it weird. I'm not going to say it.
It spells exactly how you say it.
Samaji.
Come on, do it for the fans, Mike.
Can you say the name again?
Samaji.
Yeah, there you go, Mike.
Jumanji.
Samaji. Are you gonna pick him up?
I am, if I can. If you need a running back, yeah, for sure. There's no bye this week. I don't know if Mike said that in the beginning of the show.
I said no. I said that.
I just don't remember. So it's just gonna be, your whole lineup will be in. But if you own Joe Mixon, yeah,
Pick him up.
because it's the same offense. Perine had 11 attempts, but only for 30 yards, but 4 receptions, 52 yards, and 3 passing touchdowns. He was always the passing down guy anyway. But I do like Perine to an extent, like a nice little flex play this week. Titans defense was good, and it's kind of fading off a little bit. We'll see.
Yeah,
I like Perine a little bit, not enough to like solidify him like in the lineup. Like if I need help, I'll throw him in. But
if you need that one running back for 1 week, this is the week. I don't think you're gonna get a better running back on the waiver wire besides him.
You're not getting 3 touchdowns again. I promise you that.
Maybe you get one. It'd be either rushing or passing, either one. Chris Evans will definitely go into the passing down back a little bit more.
That's Joe Green's boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the homie.
Yeah.
He'll see some snaps.
Shout out to Mr. Evans.
I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure because they had that dude Trayvon Williams that everyone went crazy for last year on the Ravens. Tyson. Oh no, different guy. I'm thinking a different guy. But yeah, I don't know. Well, I think their backfield's pretty unappetizing right now.
Yeah.
Now we're going to talk about Joe Green's boy, Treylon Burks. Well, I'm going to leave the floor for you since you've been milking his nipples since you drafted him in the beginning of the year. Show me what this cow can do.
Yeah, I mean, this cow can do. That was good, Mike. That was actually really good. Like I said last show, I said he'd have a breakout game. I did say he'd have a breakout game. Yeah, I think he looks good. I think he still looks slow. Like you're not slow. Like he lacks like elusiveness, which I think is from the turf toe, which is a little concerning. But the targets were there. He's going to see more snaps. He's clearly their best receiver. It's just going to come down to how they use him. And I think the other thing is he's elite first man coverage. He's absolutely garbage for zone coverage, and that's a problem. And we'll see how teams adjust to that. So those are like my only concern is like needs to get healthier, and we'll see how he adjusts to zone coverage.
All right. Well, my turn. Treylon Burks still stinks. He still stinks. He only played 50% of snaps. You can blame him on the turf toe all you want. He's never going to be the same again. So if you're going to blame him on the turf toe, next year he gets 50% of snaps. Are you just assuming that, it was because he had turf toe? I don't want that. It was Green Bay coming off a massive win. It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. He had 7 receptions, 111 yards, broke 1 for 51 yards. Too slow to get into the end zone, by the way. I don't know if anybody realized that. He didn't do much with his, was it 8 targets? Come on. Austin Hooper.
4.
Austin Hooper outscored him on 4 less targets.
I told you Hooper was a great tight end.
Yeah, fucking 6 years later, man.
Gotta let him marinate. New team.
Yeah, they had to. Derrick Henry wasn't running the ball great last week, so they had to throw the ball.
Tell you this, Treylon Burks, league winner.
Wasn't Jair Alexander out anyway?
No, he played.
He played? Okay.
I'm not gonna say he's a league winner because I wouldn't bet a rookie on any league winner. It's Chase and maybe OBJ in the last 10 years.
Yeah, we'll get to that later.
Maybe Jefferson as well, but he's neither of those because he's not fast. I did add him to my waiver wire because if the Titans want to be anywhere in the playoffs and be good in the playoffs, they're gonna have to pass him the ball. It's simple as that.
It's like what I've been saying all season.
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean it's gonna happen. And it doesn't mean that Treylon Burks is gonna get hurt. He's been hurt 3 times already this year.
Yeah, and he's got asthma.
And he has asthma. Soon to be diabetes because he's too fat.
Right.
And he plays in the slot.
Like I've been saying all season, they all knew where they win the game.
12 weeks to be right. I know. It took you 12 weeks to be right. Where like I've been right all year long. So.
Wait. I just want. This is how probably I feel with Dak Prescott, and now it's like switching.
Yeah, you guys are both just like it's the same thing. It's the same thing.
It's the same.
For me, I'm like Ramondre Stevenson's gonna be a breakout guy. And I'm like, well, I told you all year long. I can tell you. I'm not like, well, one day, 10 years later, I can sponge.
I don't think any of us disagreed with the Stevenson, other than I just said I didn't like Patriots. But, yeah.
Well, I'm just, I'm just saying I'm right.
Yeah.
All season if I'm going to be right. I don't want. If I'm wrong, I'll be wrong all season. If I was you, I would want Treylon Burks to be trash at this point because he made me look stupid. You know.
I stick with him.
Next up, we have the Broncos versus the Panthers. Panthers have announced that Dalton is going to be the starting QB for this team. Now, this is kind of good for DJ Moore. Can we not? Can we not say that?
Yes.
Can we?
I mean, yes. I have.
Yes,
I have
it's
a
a proven
stat.
fact. Oh,
Okay.
you have a stat. Okay, read the stat.
Yes.
He doesn't even put it in the notes, so I don't say it.
In 12 games, started by Sam Darnold last year, 14.63 fantasy points, 29% target share, 42% air yard share, racked up 118 targets, 9.8 per game, and team high 8 red zone targets. So yes,
that was DJ also. They had to change the whole offense because McCaffrey got hurt. Now McCaffrey's not there, but they also have a different coach now, and this is now DJ Moore's third quarterback on the season. I'm not buying it. That's all. If it was started the season and like Sam Darnold's the quarterback all year, I'm in on that stat.
I would agree on the McCaffrey thing if they had him last year, but he played did he only play 6 games?
That's what I'm saying. Like they had to adjust their whole offense, so they had to start throwing the ball more. They're just not doing anything good right now. The Ravens secondary hasn't been good all year, and they scored 3 points.
It's not going to be a good matchup to base this off of either. We're going against the Broncos. Surtain just got shit on by Adams, so he's definitely going to want to lock up DJ Moore or whoever he's playing against. So I definitely think the Broncos defense going against Carolina is not going to look good regardless.
That's fair. That is a good point, Mike. Yeah. And I'm not advocating for starting Moore. I was just more advocating that he could be good if they stick with Darnold for the season.
That's why I brought it up, because I think Darnold
future. I thought you were talking about this week more specifically. Future, a little bit. I can see it, but the timing's not there right now. So.
And then now we're going to talk about Latavius Murray taking over the running back position. That goes to you, Billy. You said this for a couple of weeks now. You had him on your bench, even though Murray's been circulating around the NFL with multiple teams this year.
He just always does it.
He always does it.
And I just had a feeling, so I was like, I'll do it. In a shocker, Melvin Gordon fumbled the ball again.
Oh, he's released.
No, he fumbled the ball again, and then they had no choice. That the worst coach in the NFL had to cut Melvin Gordon. So he was released, went through waivers. He's now a free agent. But that makes Latavius Murray fantasy relevant every year, like he has been for the last 7-8 years during week 12 to 18, 17 back in the day. Scoop him up if you can. He's probably their only running back, because isn't Mike Boone hurt too?
I don't know about Mike Boone, but
Marlon Mack.
Marlon Mack. Oh, we love Marlon Mack, though. That's
I do love Marlon Mack.
I was going to say, your boy Marlon Mack's there.
Yeah, that's a shame. Lat Murray's better.
I want to say, if you would have told me in August that the Broncos' starting running backs in week 12 were Marlon Mack and Latavius Murray, I'd have been like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I mean, I feel like that's been this whole fantasy year, though. Just nothing makes sense. And
in my opinion, running backs are this is the worst year I've ever seen running backs.
Yeah.
It's rough.
Overall.
Yeah. It's been a rough year.
Yeah. I think Lat Murray flies right into RB2 rest of the season. because he's not somebody who fumbles very often. He takes care of the ball. He's a wily vet.
The only thing I have to say about that is like, I think it's touchdown or bust. I think he sees 15 to probably 15 carries a game, maybe a little bit
15
more.
carries a game.
I just don't. I think this offense line is just dog water. So I mean,
Yeah.
that's the whole reason why I don't think it's the running backs problem. Besides the fumbling, I don't think it's the running backs problem. I think it's always been the offensive line.
No, it's been Melvin Gordon problem.
Like, well, I mean, even when Williams was there, he wasn't.
Yeah, I think
because Lat Murray 17 touches, he didn't fumble the ball.
Yeah, but he barely had 50 yards.
Yeah, that's the point. He's averaging 3.6 yards a carry, Lat Murray. Like the offensive line's terrible.
I mean, I love the fact that you got a running back for 17 carries a game, 15 carries a game,
5-6 targets a game. Yeah, 4 less as being the backup.
He will be a great backup, and if you have an injury, he's going to be a fill.
Yeah, he's
best part about it.
He's low end RB2 the rest of the year. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Ooh. Maybe. I think he's like a flex.
Yeah.
So from
low end
22 to 26 is a flex, right? RB 22 to 26 is a flex.
I think he's matchup dependent. I'll say that. I think he's matchup dependent.
I'll give you that.
That wraps it up for these two people, I think. I mean, do you think I don't think there's anything else we need to talk about.
No, Judy might be back. That's about it. That's the only
when I see it, I believe it.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the Bucs versus the Browns. One more week until we get to see the multiple hand touching Deshaun Watson.
Well, 2. They have a bye week after this.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
It doesn't matter.
It does, because that's 2 weeks. That's my fault. I didn't look at the bye week. That's my fault. That's my fault.
And then we have to reevaluate this whole team because guess what? We don't know exactly what it's going to be. But as of right now, Cooper is doing great. He's proving that he can play the whole year as of right now.
Yeah.
I
have a little bit of a take on this whole Deshaun Watson and Jacoby Brissett thing.
All right.
If you've noticed, the past few weeks, the Browns have been throwing the ball a lot more than usual.
They have.
And, they were down in the Bills game, but that was a close game. It wasn't like it was like a blowout most of the game. So, they've been throwing the ball a lot. Cooper Kupp, not Cooper Kupp. See, Amari Cooper, thank you. 8 receptions, 113 yards. Peoples-Jones, 5 for 61 and a touchdown. Finally saw the end zone. I feel like they're just trying to get this offense ready for a more fast-paced offense instead of just running the ball. Plus, Nick Chubb has looked bad. 14 attempts, 19 yards last week. Not good.
I don't want to talk about Chubb.
Yeah, but you don't with Tony Pollard sitting on the bench. Dummy. You absolute dummy. Yeah.
That's a good theory.
They threw the ball 41 times. When's the last time the Browns threw the ball 41 times?
Never.
Yeah.
Not even with Mayfield.
Yep.
That's a good theory, Bill. Like I think that makes some sense for them trying to prepare for a potential change in their offense, but
because Brissett knows he's a company guy. Unlike Mike, he's a company guy.
I mean,
that's what it takes.
What QB is gonna be like? You know what? I don't want to pass it. Come on.
No, yeah, but that's been their offense.
Yeah.
For decades, is run the ball, make the safe play. They're throwing the ball downfield. They're doing plays that they don't usually do. It's interesting. That's all I'm saying. It's a little interesting.
Any news on Fournette?
No, we won't know until Wednesday.
All right.
I think he plays.
Start my White.
Though. I love Mike White.
Is his name Mike?
No, it's Rashad.
Why do you say Mike?
Mike White is on the Jets.
He said it, not me.
Yeah, you got me saying it, and then I was like, "Oh, it's not Mike White. It's Rashad White."
I realized it, and I just turned it on you because that's the easiest thing to do.
Yeah, I love this Rashad.
Anything about the Bucs? Do you think your tight end's going to do anything this week?
Cade Otton.
Cade Otton.
No.
Right. I love Cade Otton.
I just don't think he's athletic enough.
Yes, I think he's got great hands.
Yeah, I just don't
Runs
think
a
he's
good route.
athletic enough.
Can block, but
Is he a Jake Ballard type? That's
I
Jake Ballard.
think he's like Cameron Brate 2.0, and that's kind of why they drafted him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can't do anything particularly well, but he's a good all-around football player and will be on the field. That's kind of like after a couple weeks, that's what I've gotten because I own him in I think 2 leagues. I think it's 1 league too many, but
Probably. Probably.
No, I like to own a share. I do not like to own 4 shares.
Yeah.
But besides that, no, I got nothing.
All right, good. Because next up, we're talking about the Falcons versus the Commanders.
Shout out to Mike. You were real right on the Commanders. You were real right. Good for you.
I was
on Sunday morning,
but I didn't play it. So what is it? What is there to be right about when you don't have money on it?
That's fair.
It means you're a coward.
True.
And you're a bitch. So that's what it means.
I actually like to post my tickets after I didn't submit them and say I hit a winner. Just saying.
You want to talk about how Kyle Pitts is the biggest bust in recent years?
I told you this was going to happen.
We both did.
You did, but you guys still had him top 5 ranked or 6th.
No, I think I think I did have him 5th. If I had him, it was 5th. That's for sure.
Yeah, didn't you have him at 2, Mike? If I'm correct.
I had Schultz ahead of him.
That's tough.
I had Schultz ahead of him.
All right, maybe you had him 3.
Yeah. Do you guys like? Unless he gets a different quarterback next year, which I don't even know if they will.
Ritter.
Yeah, but like I feel like they would have given Ritter a shot already. No, am I crazy for thinking that?
Not while they have playoff hopes.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. They're trying for the playoffs.
No, they're serious. They're serious about that.
But let's be real. Like,
so.
if Ritter is probably like very close to Mariota in the way they play.
Yeah, they are.
So I mean, why would you put the less experienced player in?
To get him more experience because you're franchise.
Not when you have playoff hopes, trying to sell tickets.
So
what you're telling me is
Kyle. They're only their second year in that stadium. They have to sell tickets.
Yeah. So just so we're clear, if we're thinking that Desmond Ritter's similar, if not basically the same quarterback as Mariota, I think he's a little bit maybe like when Mariota just came in the league and how mobile he was. I don't think Mariota's as mobile now, but as Mike says, he loves tight ends. So you think Kyle Pitts is just going to be not ownable next year?
As we have I think Joe Green said that he might be the biggest pickup late in drafts next year. So
yeah, no, I think what he said was nobody's going to touch him until the 8th round.
Yeah,
I think that.
But I said I was like, no one's touching this guy till the 7th, 8th round next year. But I think he's a great buy low candidate. Similar, I'll say this. I'll even give Mike credit for this. I'll even give Mike credit for this because you were on it a little bit more than we were. He could be like Brandon Ayuk. He falls 4 or 5 rounds later, and it's all of a sudden he's respectable because it's he's not expected to be a top player. So
everybody's draftable somewhere. Just kind of like Dak Prescott.
Gotta have value.
Yeah,
it's got to find the value.
It is. It's about value.
Yeah. Anything game wise on this? Like, I'm not. I really don't want to own anybody in the Commanders. Really don't. At this point,
they share the ball more than.
I think. I would say I think Antonio Gibson is.
He's clearly
still
this year. Yeah, 18.
Yeah, I think.
He's still seeing the passing down, so that's why he's the one that has to be owned.
Yeah.
No J.D. McKissick either. He's done. So, yeah, I still like Gibson for the rest of the year.
Yeah. Okay.
That wraps it up.
Yeah. It really stinks.
You're gonna have another stinker because we have the Texans versus the Dolphins.
Do you think Damon Pierce is actually going to be a top 15 running back, Mike?
He's going to finish top 15.
I don't know. 10 rushes, 8 yards last week. I know you're bad at math. That's 0.8 yards. That's less than a yard per touch. It's not good.
And what is your boy Watkins, 17 divided by 50.
Who?
Your running back for the Broncos, 17 carries for 50 yards.
That's better than
Watkins.
0.1, man.
Those sucks.
It's like 2.8. It's
Sorry,
definitely.
don't worry about my rankings.
If I can do math, that's 4 times better.
Yeah, because he had nothing. He only had 10 rushes. They were losing that game. There was nothing he could do.
Yeah.
No.
Can we also? So we'll keep an eye on that. But can we just get an apology from you saying that Davis Mills stinks?
Listen, I had a belief that Daddy Longneck was going to do something. And
Daddy Longneck.
Unfortunately, he was a one-hit wonder.
Yeah,
he's like the last
one hit.
He had one good game this year. No, he did. And Mike was starting the Super Bowl parade for him.
Believe it or not, who's the Giants backup? What was his name? With the long neck.
Mike Glennon.
Mike Glennon had one good year with the Bucks, and then this is gonna be his one good year. I mean, not this year.
But
I think last year was his one good year.
I think Mills is a fine backup. It's just he's clearly not a starter.
Yeah, he's like Colt McCoy. He's a fine backup. He'll never
draft it. They're gonna draft the QB this year, so it doesn't even matter. They will.
Probably. Also, real quick, just on Dameon Pierce again. This is why I sold him. Like a running back in a really bad offense that's going to trail a lot of games, and they've got a rough schedule ahead. Not going to get much prettier for them when they go against the Chiefs, the Cowboys, the Titans. Like games they're getting blown out in. It's just ugly.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't love it. I will say I do think, just from like a football perspective in itself, this is a flat spot for the Dolphins. I really think so.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I also love Jeff Wilson this week, by the way. Raheem Mostert apparently didn't practice on Monday, which is weird. I don't know why it's a bye week they're coming off of. That's why they practiced Monday. But Jeff Wilson, slam matchup. He's in all of your lineups this week.
Yeah.
He's going to be a starter no matter what.
I mean,
but no matter what.
Hurt, but, no
matter what.
I don't think so.
Yeah, if he gets turf toe and he never play football again, he's definitely not a starter. I do like that take. I think they just, I don't know. It's a weird spot. After the bye week, they're like, oh, just the Texans. I don't know. Texans might show up. I wouldn't hate like a Brandon Cooks play this week. Really wouldn't.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Let's move on.
Let's go to the next game. Chargers versus Cardinals. We have Mike Williams re-aggravating his ankle. I don't know what that means, but Joshua Palmer is now ownable again.
He got hurt again, you idiot.
Yeah. Hate to see it. Should have been on my team.
Hate to see it. Joshua Palmer. He was on your team twice this year already, and you dropped him twice.
Yeah. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But I didn't think
he's only usable if there's no Mike Williams. I mean, that's all of his value.
Yeah.
I dropped him for good reason.
You thought?
Keenan Allen finally showed up. Came off and played finally. That's all I have to say. He played.
He was he wasn't used a lot in the first half, but like on that big drive in the end, he was used twice. So it's a good sign. He looked healthy.
Well, they said that he was going to be on a snap count.
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
They really needed him in the second half, and that's exactly the reason why.
Yeah.
Yeah, the snap count went out the window, he said, when Mike Williams got hurt. He said they needed him, so that's what happened.
And he balled.
Yeah, I mean, he's a baller. They were just waiting for him to be healthy.
I was waiting for another injury to happen so I could win the championship, but unfortunately.
I mean, he still could.
Unfortunately, I have to make a voodoo doll now. I have to make one. Now that's more work on these hands. They're tired. I've already made 5 of them.
I had 3 injuries this week. Come on. He's gonna be out of voodoo. He's gonna be out of fingers by playoffs.
You're gonna see like knuckles.
I want to say on the Chargers side, I think we're going to see Herbert be a top 5 quarterback the rest of the way, fantasy wise.
Yeah,
I think we're going to see crazy finish. Yeah, but it's also he's healthy again. Like you can see the rib injury that he suffered that really he should have sat out some time for. Has finally looks like it's healed up and he looks good. Like he looks mobile. He looks like himself again.
I think it took time for him to realize that he has to get the ball out quicker. Losing his left tackle was horrible for him.
Well, yeah, it's horrible for anyone, but
it's not good for him.
That's all. I mean, Cardinals, Hopkins, obviously. The backup tight end, McBride? He saw a couple of catches. Didn't really think. I thought he was going to do more. Hollywood Brown will be back this game.
Most likely.
Is what I think they're going to push him forward, especially after Billy's boy out for the season probably now.
Well, don't know if Moore is out for a significant period of time. Let's not
he's definitely going to be out for 2 games.
That's fine. He's my bench wide receiver, Mike. So don't get your panties in a bunch and you ruined my year with your voodoo. You really didn't, but I know you're counting your small wins out here this year.
9 wins to be exact, or is that 10? I forgot. I lost count.
10.
Next up, we have the Raiders versus the Seahawks.
Raiders stink.
Yeah, they're terrible.
That's all I got. The Seahawks were on bye last week. They're rested. They're going to beat the shit out of these Raiders.
I think Seahawks have to come out strong. The division is slowly getting very competitive.
Mm-hmm.
They're not in first anymore. 49ers took it last night.
49ers look real good, too.
Due to a bye, but Seahawks definitely have to win this game. It should be a great game for Walker.
Should be a great game for everybody in the Seahawks offense because the Raiders played their hearts out to get their 3rd win. They played the game of their lives to get a 3rd win against Nathaniel Hackett and the Broncos. They have nothing left in the tank. There's nothing more they can do.
That was their Super Bowl.
Yeah, it was.
Listen, for me, that is a Super Bowl beat. Sweeping them for the 3rd year in a row. Oh, with all the Bronco fans I know.
So that is
sweet.
Can we clarify? The Raiders have now beaten 2 teams. The Broncos, who have the worst coach in the NFL.
Yeah.
And they've beaten Daddy Longneck. And that's it. They just beat those the 2 worst teams in the NFL.
And you can't fire your coach because you can't afford to get another one.
Yep. They can't. He's broke. It's broke.
I don't know how he's broke.
I've been saying this for years. The guy's broke. He's so lucky the Gruden thing worked out the way it did. He really is. He couldn't fire him either.
Listen, you should buy the team.
I mean, it's probably pennies on the dollar at this point.
Did you see, before we go into the game, you see the Raiders try to trademark Win City today?
I saw you tag me in that, and I was I have no words. I have no words for what they're doing.
Instead of Sin City, as they play in Vegas, they are going to trademark the term Win City. Like, they're just going to win games. You come in here, we're winning this game in this city.
They haven't won anything in 30, 40 years.
Just saying. I thought it was funny.
It's just embarrassing.
That you've had in quite a while. And Win City, baby. All right.
I'm going to move on because we see his face is turning red. I know you guys can't see it, but I know he's getting mad.
Yeah,
so next we're going to talk about the Rams and how bad they are because they're just as bad. And the Chiefs should steamroll them. The Rams are awful. Offense line's awful. No more Cooper Kupp. There's nobody there to save them.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is now to talk about is the Chiefs is Pacheco. He's continues the runs. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he's hurt. I don't know how long he's hurt, but
he lost his job before that, didn't he?
Yeah, definitely lost his job. But I mean, the icing on the cake is now that Pacheco is going to see actually rush attempts every week.
Mm-hmm. He runs real well.
I love him.
I really like what I saw. He looks different than he did in the beginning of the year. I don't know why. He looked like how he did in preseason.
He was dancing
Remember-
in the beginning of the year.
Remember in preseason, he was just running hard, and we were like, "Oh, everybody's gonna watch out for this guy." And then the first couple games, he played like shit, and then now he's looking good again. But he is useless as far as passing downs are concerned. Jared McKinnon will be on every passing down, and the way he blocked last week, I deserve a couple fantasy points. I know Mike didn't watch the end of that game, but without Jared McKinnon, they would have lost that game.
Yeah, 100%.
So
I do agree. I think the problem with Pacheco is he just has no receiving value, and unless he scores a touchdown, like the upside is so low. It sucks because he's really talented, and the number 10 definitely reminds you of Tyreek Hill, especially when he's fast as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just a low ceiling at the moment, and that's frustrating because he's really talented. But we'll see in future seasons. The guy is definitely good. Like they got a good running back for a few years at least.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of a couple weeks, Kadarius Toney hurt already. This guy, head, shoulder, knees, and toes. Like I told you guys, he can't stay healthy.
I love it.
Listen,
Giants
I mean,
winning daily.
he did more with the Chiefs than he ever did with the Giants.
That was the biggest win we had on Sunday.
You lost.
No, that was a win.
You lost. It just shows that the Giants stink. Are you guys rushing to pick up Sky Moore or Justin Watson or anybody? Or
I'm rushing. If it's available, I'd rather rush through it running back for the Rams. Williams.
Kyron Williams? I mean, we've been telling people to pick him up for weeks.
Yeah, but people don't listen, so he's still available. So go pick him up.
Yes.
I mean, that's totally different conversation from what Billy was asking, but
I'm not picking up anybody.
I'm not running.
Okay.
There's nobody there.
I'm just asking.
I mean, definitely
Just
not rushing for them. I mean, Juju's going to be back. He just had a concussion.
But you're not gonna pick him
What
up.
happened
He's
to
not out forever.
What happened to Antonio Brown? Was he ever the same?
Well,
Juju was already acting a fool. Juju was already acting a fool. Is all I'm saying.
Let's reel it back a little bit.
Okay.
I don't think we have to go off the deep end here, but I'm not rushing.
I mean, you go off the deep end for turf, though. So why can't you go to the deep end for
CT?
a murder on the field?
As I was,
no words.
The ball's going to go somewhere. Who knows if Juju's going to be back this week? If say Juju doesn't play, hypothetically, you picking up Sky Moore this week? Spot start.
Spot start, no. But I stash him potentially. Yeah, I mean, you're also talking about someone I was stashing Sky Moore for the first 2 weeks of the season because I like him as a talent. But
you had to drop because you had to keep Treylon Burks, right? Yeah.
I didn't actually draft Treylon. I don't know if you guys remember that.
I can't keep up.
Jesse drafted
traded
him
for
in the 5th round.
Yeah,
traded for pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, I did not hate the trade. I like the trade.
But I didn't draft him. I was not drafting him in the 5th round. That was like madness to me.
But you traded for him, willing to keep him.
I can't keep him. He was a 5th round draft pick. Why would I keep a 5th round? Like, unless he's literally a Amon-Ra St. Brown the rest of the year, not keeping him.
Yeah, and he's definitely not a Amon-Ra St. Brown. But we're way off topic at this point.
Yeah, I just want to talk about the Rams real quick. With Treylon Williams. I mean, he was their snap count leader on Sunday. They released Darrell Henderson. Darrell Henderson was hyped about that on Twitter, which is funny. I think he has sneaky potential to be a guy that you end up starting in the playoffs. And I'll say why. Last year in our fantasy championship, Matt Gersh started Jarrett Patterson on the Commanders. I started Boston Scott and Rashad Penny. That's the kind of running backs you get into at this time of the year. I think he's going to see a lot of passing work, and I mean it's just him and Cam Akers. So he might not do much, but he's going to have opportunity.
I feel like because you guys both shot me down saying that Lat Murray is going to be a low end RB2. The Rams probably have the worst offensive line in the NFL.
At least they're passing.
They do.
At least they're passing to.
Well, nobody's been able to run the ball. nobody's catching a million balls out of the backfield. Yeah, obviously Cooper Kupp's not there anymore, but Tyler Higbee's led the lead in targets past 2 weeks. That's not going to change. I don't see him winning you a fantasy championship, because if he could, he would, and he didn't last week.
I think it's a stretch, but I think what I like about him is there's no wasted motion when he's on the field, like no wasted movement. He doesn't do all the dancing, and he's slippery. It's hard to tackle. But yeah, it's a bad offensive line. The Rams average the least amount of points from a running back in fantasy football, so it's kind of gross. And but they have an easy schedule. That is what they have. And if they start Bryce Perkins, there's some option. There's some read option there that could be interesting.
Okay. I wanna put this on record. The Broncos are gonna sign Henderson off waiver.
Is that like?
I mean, it's not waiver wire. It's definitely free agency. He went through waivers.
Either way.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe. I thought that was like an official news that you just.
Coming up with some nonsense opinion.
Well, no, what will break my heart is that the Rams go and sign Melvin Gordon for absolutely no freaking reason. Besides the point.
That's why I'm not dropping him yet.
They called Todd Gurley again and just, hey, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Want to be in our
Actually, know what I bet you happens? I bet you he signs with the goddamn Chiefs. I don't know why. I bet you he signs with the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. That is the most Melvin Gordon thing ever, would be to go sign with the Chiefs, to then play the Broncos twice and beat them. I'm not like that. Now I'm convinced that's going to happen.
But see, like when people like the Chiefs, when they sign like a bad back, like a bad old running back, they never play, like Bell, any of them. So
yeah,
I'm not even worried.
No, that's true.
It's either that or the Ravens.
McCoy.
The Ravens could be a spot.
Yeah,
too.
Ravens would be.
That's an all-time. That's an all-time Ravens move.
That is. That definitely is.
All right, let's kick off the next game before we spend all day. Saints versus 49ers. 49ers obviously passing everybody in that offense. They're just a team full of just, nobody's going to be a selling. Everyone's just going to share the rock.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have the Saints. We have Billy's number one wide receiver. He continues to
baby.
Proof his hot takes are all true. The best Ohio.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't really like hard to see. I mean, if you were taking Treylon Burks before Chris Olave, you were an idiot. That's kind of what I feel like. Like, if you thought Treylon Burks was a better talent than Chris Olave, you were dumb.
I didn't think that. I never.
I didn't. No, I'm not talking about it. I'm just saying in general, because people did. People did. I'm not saying you. You watched him live. I know your opinion on it. You think the volume was better for Treylon Burks, but he's not even seeing 50% of the snap count. So that's I mean, I don't know what you're talking about. Olave, he's a guy who's he could win a league this year. He could help win people leagues.
He is winning people leagues.
Yeah,
he is winning leagues. Yeah.
He's top 20 running back, a wide receiver.
Yeah, he's definitely not a running back.
Imagine drafting Drake London over Chris Olave right now. People were doing that, by the way. That was a big thing.
I mean,
it looked good in the beginning of the year.
It does. Like, it made sense because, we thought Michael Thomas would play. We thought Jarvis Landry would play. They're both not playing, so.
Yeah, that helped the cause, without a doubt.
Yeah. And we thought Jameis was going to be the quarterback. And we thought Alvin Kamara was going to be the main running back. Nobody knows this happening in the Saints team.
Yeah. Don't have much else to add, but it's been something.
49ers, they look good. McCaffrey doesn't look great. Like, he looks good, but if you're a McCaffrey owner, you hate it. And we said it like the day it happens. Like, you lose value. You lose value like that. There's too many weapons there. Everybody lost value except for George Kittle when he played me last night. That was brutal. It's like we know what we're getting with the 49ers. They kind of share the ball pretty much everywhere. I just have one question that kind of relates to fantasy next year. Is Jimmy doing enough to just keep his job? Like,
I said this. Maybe I didn't say it on here. I said the same thing a few weeks ago. I was like, watch Jimmy Garoppolo lead this team to the Super Bowl. And what do? You have the Eagles situation all over again.
I said
that's what we're up to.
Because this team looks really good right now. Yeah, they played the Cardinals last night, but even last week they looked good. Like they've been good. So Jimmy just wins games. That's the problem. Jimmy wins games.
When you put an accurate QB with a good offensive line, a running attack, and a great defense, I mean, what else? Like he's going to lead them to at least the playoffs and probably the championship. They should have. Think about it. They came down to the playoffs. They came down to like what, the very end of the Green Bay game and losing in a crazy weather game. So
that wasn't last year. Last year they lost the Rams. No, they lost the Rams last year.
But it's always something with them. It's craziness.
Yeah, I do think that's interesting though, and I wouldn't be shocked. I have a future on the Niners to win the Super Bowl. But
that's crazy. I had the opposite. I had them to miss the playoffs because Trey Lance is going to be the quarterback.
Well, I put it in after they traded for McCaffrey, so I didn't put it in
preseason.
Yeah.
That's not juicy.
Yeah,
that's like what, plus 600?
No, plus 1,700. Because remember, they were like 4-6 or 4-5 whenever they made the deal, whatever it was. 3
That's
and 4.
actually pretty juicy. I like that.
But
you're still kind of cheating.
I don't think it's crazy that Garoppolo has his job again next year. I think that could happen.
Yeah, I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah, let's move on to the Packers and the Eagles Sunday night game.
Yep. Were we wrong on Christian Watson? Or he just did the same thing he did last week again?
I mean, he just had touchdowns.
Yeah,
what's crazy? Really have the yards.
What a hilarious timing that was for us, because we released that podcast right after the game, and then it's like, our takes just aged like milk with that one.
Yeah, I mean, but the same thing happened again. Yeah, he had the least amount of yards out of any wide receiver on the team. He found the end zone twice. He had 48 yards. I think it was 4 receptions again. Am I right?
Yeah, 4 receptions. It was 4. Yep.
So basically the same stat line, except for he had 2 touchdowns instead of 3. Like, once again, I'm dying with this take. It's not sustainable. It's not, especially against the Eagles. There's no way. There's 0 scoring less. Yeah. Put me out there. Less than 10 fantasy points this week, guaranteed.
But this is what intrigued me about him. This is what intrigued me about him was the deep ball for the touchdowns. That's the only thing I liked on. That's why I almost put $30 fab dollars on him, because I was like, oh, he's good for one of those bombs a game. And that's what we're seeing. I mean, for 2 games, we'll see if that's consistent.
4 catches for 48 yards.
Well, the one was kind of like a Hail Mary. Like, it was like the 20-yard line, and Rodgers threw up a jump ball, and he just took it down. So, yeah, maybe not a bomb, but the other one was like a trick play kind of thing. Yeah, it was a jump ball, the first touchdown. But, yeah, I mean, this is his only value, is touchdowns. He's not a volume guy. He never will be. He's just a vertical wide receiver.
Yeah. Listen. Less than 10 points. Lock it in.
Yeah, I mean, this is.
I guess it's going to be you and Jones again with a wide receiver.
No, Gabe Davis doesn't score as many touchdowns. It's not fair. You can't say that. I wish he was Gabe Davis.
Gabe Davis of the North Midwest right here.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Anyways.
Anything on the Eagles side?
They just continue to dominate.
Yeah, I think they...
dominate. They barely beat the Jeff Saturday Colts.
What I tell you, anybody who listens to the podcast and wants some money, you're welcome. It's too easy sometimes.
But when you ask him for his lock, he'll give you a loser.
I gave you 3 winners this weekend, Mike.
Sometimes you don't want to have options. We just want to know the game.
We gave you all 3, and they were...
I know, and
yeah,
you know what?
all 3 won.
I suggested the Washington and shit on. I'm like,
we were never so confident in this week. We've been hot. We've been hot all year.
That was the scary part. You guys are hot, and I was thinking you guys.
Well, I just came off a cold stretch from college basketball, but that's something else.
Anyway,
I think Yeah, I don't think there's much that's interesting. I mean, AJ Brown's 2 stinkers in a row, kind of like a little worrisome.
The
But
second stinker, he like rolled his ankle and like missed a bunch of time in that game. So
yes, last week was just
yeah.
no touchdown. 5 catches for 60 yards.
I think Goddard being out really does hurt them.
Mm-hmm.
So. It helps Devonta Smith though. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah,
knowing him.
Yep.
Gotta go somewhere. I thought there would be more rush. A rush. Want to use Sanders more, but obviously they were down.
Yeah, I think the trailing part is what hurt there. But I agree. I would imagine they're going to run the ball more.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
Is that it for this
Last
game?
one of the night.
Yeah, I don't really have much.
Steelers versus the Colts.
It's simple. There's one thing to say. Fuck you, Jeremy Fowler. You fucking idiot.
I'm guessing Najee had more than 20 carries.
Najee went off.
Najee had 20 carries, 90 yards, 2 touchdowns, 4 receptions, 26 yards, 6 targets. Anybody know how many attempts that Jaylen Warren had?
Yeah,
I'd say 2.
0.
Yeah.
Yeah, one target. Yeah, I mean, Jeremy Fowler doesn't know football from his ass. So, like, there's nothing else to say. Like, the Colts, they're trying to win games, trying to do their best. Steelers, I don't know what they're trying to do. They might be trying to lose games, might be trying to win games. Pat Freiermuth, we had that question a few weeks ago, whether who benefits the most from Claypool leaving, and I think it's been Freiermuth. He's just been eating.
Easily.
I always thought it was easily.
Yeah.
12 targets. 12 targets Sunday.
Listen, guys, I got myself a tight end. What can I say?
I know. I traded for 5, and 2 are hurt.
Trade the wrong ones.
2 are hurt. The other one, the QB's broken shoulder. What can I do?
Listen, be better. That's what you can do. Be better. This is where champions come to play.
I thought about trading a first-round pick for a tight end, but I was like, who am I going to trade a first-round pick for? I was like, this idiot
Mark
has Kelsey.
Andrews is the only one.
Yeah, I was like, this idiot has Kelsey. He's not going to take that.
Jesse nearly did it first for Mark Andrews.
Yep. Outside of that, I have nothing on the Colts really. They look better that Matt Ryan's quarterback, but we knew that already.
I think only thing I have about the Colts, if Matt Ryan's quarterback, Paris Campbell is obviously like fantasy relevant. We kind of talked about that.
Yeah, we said
I said it's on my waiver wire.
Yeah, but the other thing I'll say, I really like the idea of owning, and it's kind of like sucks because you have to hope for an injury. Deion Jackson, because you're literally just a Jonathan Taylor injury away from a respectable running back.
Yep.
He's done stuff in the NFL, so
yeah,
really had a chance.
Yeah, like he was good as a replacement, and they have a favorable ending to the season against the Chargers, Giants, and Texans. So like if Taylor goes down, that's freaking free money with Deion Jackson. But anyways.
No, I think that's good you brought it up. I think it actually is something that we should talk about next week, maybe open the show, would be like kind of how to build a better playoff roster. Instead of like just having like somebody like a mid-level wide receiver, get somebody who's worth more, that if somebody goes down, you don't have to worry about going to get it. Maybe give people some options. Or Mike can do it in his waiver wire video.
Or Mike could pay attention.
Mike, what are you doing?
All right.
Sleeping. He's sleeping on the wheel.
Well, he's sleeping on the clock again. All right.
I'll do any video I need.
Shut up. It's over. It doesn't matter.
I'm the top video maker here.
Mike, we've been not recording for 15 minutes. You wouldn't even know. You were just sleeping.
I wasn't sleeping. Dozing off. I was closing my eyes.
You just taking a quick nappy poo?
Resting my eyes.
Yeah, getting ready for this weekend? A little nappy poo.
Going out, boys.
A little nappy poo.
All right. Like, follow, subscribe, ladies and gentlemen.
Smooches.